This is We All Be, news-free Dixie for the 21st century. See how it works? Somewhere. Can you dig it?
And so just want you to know. Man, I looked at that smile on your face just now. And the first time I ever wished I was a photographer to take that picture and let the world see that honesty and that integrity. And know some of the things I know, how you drive all over the country to chase us down. Chase us down. Okay? We move so fast. I don't know if you're married, I don't know if you're a family, I don't know if you're a wife. Okay? But when we get on here, we bosom friends. Anytime I see you, I stop whatever I'm doing. Hey, my man, how are you? Hey. Hey, man, what, that's, I owe that to you. It's an obligation that you have. How old are you?
Oh, 36.
So you don't have the right to do what 36 people do. You don't have the right to go to the dance or go to the party. You don't have a right to take that trip to Europe when I might need that plane fare to fly somebody else to feed my people that love me. Mm-hmm. You feed them. Oh, it's one thing being hungry from food. Right. There's another thing being hungry for information.
That's right.
And that's you to feed her. You got to be the farmer. You got to grow the crop. Huh? You got to till the grain. And at nighttime, when you hear something that sounds like water, you got to go see if the crop's going to be flooded. That's your job, man.
Hey, everybody, this is Brother Ron. I am asking you all to do me a big favor. Think about supporting the We All Be movement. Your donation is tax deductible. The We All Be Group Incorporated is a recognized 501c3. And I'm just asking you all because I want to keep on bringing y'all quality work through the way that I know how to do best. And I'm going to sing my praises and toot my horn. A lot of y'all were not hip to Dick Gregory until Brother Ron brought him on the We All Be platform, until that jingle review we did. Y'all seen another side of Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown's message has been amplified. But it was We All Be that brought Judge Joe Brown to y'all back in 2014, and so many others. And we covered so many things. So help us out so we can help you all. Peace. Bada bing, bada boom is what we do. Is we all be in it to win it. This is your brother Ron, and this is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. That's News Free Dixie for the 21st century. And I hope everybody's doing well out there. Happy 901 day. You heard me? Happy 901 day. You heard me? So this is the thing. This is the thing. This is 901 day. September 1st represents, every city. I don't think every city, but a couple places in America, they'll celebrate their area code in certain places. Like 901, Memphis area code is 901. 314, that's St. Louis. 315. 313, excuse me, that's Detroit.
I think 318 is that Chicago or maybe it's 773. But anyway, no, 901 coincides with September 1st, so they got 901 day in Memphis. And I want to make sure I went all the way live. I wanted to go live at 901. But things happen, time moving really, really fast right now. But I hope all is well. And also I want to get people used to the idea that we will be broadcasting live. We do live streams. The two places you could catch our live streams from now on for the time being, because everything must change. Nothing stays the same. So you could catch us. Let me see. Make sure. Okay. You could catch us on this stream if you're looking on YT Plantation. YouTube is YT. They acting very YT lately. You catch us on We All Be TV too. Let me put that down there. We All Be TV too. Oh, no. I hope everybody's doing fine, man. It's been a crazy, crazy time. 2024 is a year like no other. So get in the mindset. You want to look at We All Be TV on YT Plantation, you go to this destination, youtube.com/We All Be TV. 2, that's youtube.com/// We All Be TV 2. And also check us out on Rumble at rumble.com//We All Be TV. That's rumble.com/We All Be TV. Y'all can check it out on those two locations for the time being. I just got a notification from YT. They sent me one of those emails saying it was concerned about my well-being, my mental well-being. I'm very much well, but what they're doing on my first channel is they're removing videos that have been there for 10 plus years in some cases of important events that happen. See what they're doing right now, they're trying to recreate the past. They're trying to scrub things off the timeline that actually happened. I actually dedicated a lot of my time and resources about 10 plus years ago to trying to find out what happened to a young man down in Mississippi in the land of Emmett Till. Brother name was Frederick Jermaine Carter. He was just 26 years young. They found him, as they say, unalive, hanging like a Christmas ornament from a tree near a dog kennel in a, from my understanding, upper middle class, affluent white neighborhood in the Mississippi Delta in Greenwood, Mississippi, right by the Tallahatchie River, where they pulled the body of Emmett Till out of. In LaFleur County. This is Greenwood. I believe in LaFleur County is where they held the trial for the two brothers, two white men, the Health brothers, J.W. Milam and Roy Bryant. Had that trial in LaFleur County, but that happened years ago. And We All Be News was the only news organization in the entire country to do really an in-depth dive into what might have happened to our dear brother Frederick Jermaine Carter. It was sad because from my understanding from the narrative, he was originally from Massachusetts, but his mama and them, his mama's people, his mama, they from the Delta, from the Mississippi Delta. So he actually was from Massachusetts, but he moved back to the Delta with his folks, with his mom and his stepfather, Llewellyn Evans. And I believe he worked with his stepfather doing carpentry work, stuff like that, painting, working on people's buildings, things like, being construction, carpentry, stuff like that. And from my understanding, he was on a gig with his stepfather, Llewellyn Evans, and they were doing a job, right? But Llewellyn had to leave the premises of the job location to get supplies, I believe, to go to the store to get supplies. So Frederick was left there on the site, and allegedly, according to Llewellyn, Frederick was no longer on the site when he got back. I believe that was on like a Wednesday. And then on the first Friday in December of 2010, they found him hanging like a Christmas ornament from a tree near a dog kennel by the Tallahatchie River in a upper middle class white neighborhood, from my understanding. So what was interesting is that the coroner said that he was pre-deceased or already out for about at least a day to 2 days. I think his the gig they had was on a Wednesday, and then went missing for about a couple of days. They found him on the first Friday of December of 2010. But the coroner said that he's been not with the living for at least a day or 2 days. But what's interesting is that nobody saw a body back there until the middle of the day. So if he was like that already, but then they said that he did that to himself, I don't understand. Is that possible? Was he a zombie? Was this like The Walking Dead? What was going on with that? How could he get himself in that position? And they say he was, ancestor for at least a day to 2 days, and the body wasn't there. But anyway, I did a deep dive into that. So I actually interviewed law enforcement officials like the sheriff of LaFleur County, the prosecutor, the coroner, the state's medical examiner, Dr. A.L.L Shaker, who got ran out of the state of Mississippi for really just doing his job. He was trying to be an honest person, from my understanding, being transparent with so-called cause of death, and he got him ran out the state of Mississippi. And also I interviewed the loved ones. I went to a press conference that was jointly held with the legal representative of the family, as well as with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference leadership. This is a Dr. King's organization. So Dr. Howard Creasy came with an entourage from Atlanta on Good Friday 2011 to see things for himself, what was going on in the land of Emmett Till. So he went up there, and he was convinced that there was some shenanigans going on. But unfortunately, the summer of 2011, he had a accident at home. I think he fell down a flight of steps, something like that. But he was no longer with us. And after his passing, I believe the interest in trying to find out what happened to Frederick Jermaine Carter kind of died with him. And that case took a toll on me. It really burnt me out because I really was trying to get justice for the family and for Fire. His nickname was Fire. This Frederick Jermaine Carter, this 26 years young brother from Massachusetts. And he met the same way in a lot of ways like Emmett Till, near the same place where they pulled Emmett Till's body, which is the Tallahatchie River. So with that said, it is very fascinating that Whitey has penalized me for posting videos related to the story. And basically they've been removing videos for the last several years, not just those videos, but videos with Dick Gregory, Dr. Randy Short, Judge Joe Brown. And it's like they trying to erase that We All BTV ever existed. And it's very disappointing. It's frustrating because I'm rebuilding things. I'm trying to find new ways to get the information out there because it is an info war. Like Mark Zuckerberg told us about how he was pressured by the Biden-Harris administration to limit the effectiveness of certain truth tellers on these social media streets. Like he talked about how he was told to limit the impact, the influence, to undermine the effectiveness of people like yours truly and others on these social media streets. Like I said, they demonetized my first channel, removed videos. They removed the Django video that really got y'all hooked to Dick Gregory. Like some of y'all met the genius and the brilliance and the defiance of Dick Gregory through the Django review we did back in 2013, which went woke viral. I call it woke viral. I mean, I remember when I released that back in January 2013, I didn't think nothing of it. I just think it was just another day in the office. I'm gonna post this. And there was just that. Then the next day, Dick called me, Dick Gregory, and his wife Lil was on the phone, his confidant, his ride or die. And Dick was excited. Said, have you heard from anybody? Have you know what's going on? I said, no. Man, I got a call from Quentin Tarantino and Jamie Foxx and Reginald Hudlin. They said, thank you. He said, thank you for interviewing me about Django. Because everybody's calling him. He had international press, national press. You had people calling me or contacting me, acting like they was interested in me, but they were trying to get close to Dick Gregory. But that really put Dick on a certain level with a new generation of people. Dick was already famous, of course. I didn't make Dick Gregory famous. I just made him more accessible to younger people. And from that point on, he told me, whenever I wanted to do an interview, there'll be no problem. He told his wife, whenever Ron calls or fax, let's set it up. And so the rest is history. But they removed that historic video with all the commentary, people commenting in the comment section. They removed that like a couple of weeks ago. I appealed it, and it was like bogus why they removed it, because I had used an historical photograph, a historic photograph of a strange fruit situation, a very infamous strange fruit situation that took place in Marion, Indiana, back in the 30s. You know, you had a brother named James Carrion who started, I believe, like a Black Holocaust museum up in Milwaukee. He actually survived that. He said that a voice in the crowd, it was a whole bunch of people, men, women, and children, not just thugs, not professional people, family people, religious folk was there. This is his friends. They became strange fruit, but for some reason, this black boy's life was spared. He said it was a voice in the crowd said, "Let him go. He's innocent, or he's not, he's not guilty, or something." There was a voice, he said, that was in the crowd that told the people, "Do not make him into strange fruit." And I believe people interviewed from that incident never heard. They claim they never heard a voice said that. So he believed his life was spared, and he started the Black Holocaust Museum in Milwaukee. He's an ancestor now, but his name, he lived a long life. His name was, I believe, James Cameron, like the movie director. I don't know if that museum is still open, but it's sad that they just keep on removing these videos, and I don't understand, because they claim that they're worried about my mental well-being. They'll send me emails and we're concerned. I said, "Man, it was an interview I did with the sheriff or coroner. I didn't feel like I was trying to do some harm to myself. I was just trying to show that something was funny with the official narrative of the ruling or cause of him being unalive. It didn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? If he was already an ancestor for a day or 2 days, how could he be hanging from a tree like a Christmas ornament, and nobody's seen him until the middle of that day?" And I'm getting punished for it. But that case in particular really just, man, they exhausted me mentally and physically. I really quit from trying to do any good work, because I was in it. The reason why I started We All Be was to expose things and tell our stories from our perspectives. I mean, so-called black people, so-called African American people, like our media wasn't up to par. They're supposed to be representing us, especially legacy media. So I call myself doing that work, but I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know the treachery that would come not from that so-called enemy, but from so-called skin folk. And like they said, not all skin folk is kin folk, and not all kin folk is friend folk. Not all skin folk is kin folk, and not all kin folk is friend folk. So I was surprised at the sabotage that was going on by certain individuals, allegedly, that I thought was on the right side of history, that was for truth, justice, and reconciliation and reparations and restitution, and they misled me. And it burnt me out. And Dick Gregory actually resurrected me in having faith in humanity again. When we did that interview, when I did the interview with Baba Dick, it was like at a ebb in my life. I had a real bad breakup. I was depressed about the breakup, and I was sulking. Then something told me, let me redeem myself, because I when I first met Baba Dick Gregory, it was at the Sankofa bookstore. Now I started interviewing him for my podcast that I started on Blog Talk Radio back in 2011. But I met him in the flesh the summer of 2012 at the Sankofa bookstore in Washington, D.C. by Howard University, by D. Howard University. And me and my sister and some of my friends, we was just awestruck by Baba Dick Gregory appearing in our presence. And he shared some time and game, but unfortunately, I was a novice back then. I didn't have the best recording equipment or technique set up. And people just blast me online. I thought, man, I hope I asked my sister, did we get, because it was like a lot of talking. Like people start coming in around the same time we came in. So, I mean, I felt bad about that. I like, man, I met him the first time, we recorded, but it didn't come out correctly. So I say, even after that situation, a couple months later, let me try again. If you don't succeed, try again. So I saw the Django movie back in December. I believe it was December of 2012. I went through this interesting breakup, and I called Baba Dick just to call him because I said it's been a minute since I talked to him. And the reason why I was able to connect with Baba Dick Gregory was because of my friend who's a righteous ancestor now, Marcus Jones. Marcus Jones is the father of Michael Bell, one of the Gen 6 people. See, we forget so much, man. It's so much happened that we forget, right? We forget about Katrina, Katrina anniversary, August 29th, whatever, levees, something happened to them levees, but there are people still missing from Katrina that's never been accounted for. There are people still missing from Katrina who've never been accounted for. And so that's something we got to answer for, because it is almost 20 years and we still haven't done the work to find out what happened to these people. And the people who did raise some situations or questions about it, we ran them off the scene. Like Cynthia McKinney, the Honorable U.S. Representative Cynthia McKinney, one of the first public elected officials in this country to call for an independent investigation to 9/11, who was critical of the policy of Israel as it relates to the Palestinians in Gaza, who basically is no longer living in this country, who was the presidential candidate for the Green Party back in 2008. In hindsight, I wish I would have voted for the Green Party in 2008 for the Honorable Cynthia McKinney. She has been on my platform several times. She is due. She is due because she came before Tulsi Gabbard. I love Tulsi Gabbard right now, but she is due a platform to talk about what's going on because she saw it coming. But she was very critical of the situation in Katrina. She talked about how there were groups of white people hunting down black people post Katrina, and people laughed at Cynthia McKinney. Do you remember this is the same time with Kanye when they did that fundraiser and Ye said, well, George Bush doesn't care about black people, and Mike Myers was looking nervous, like, man, I'm next to the dude. He was looking like Billy Cowles next to Dr. King on the balcony. Or Jesse Jackson. And I love Jesse Jackson. That's another story, man. We owe Jesse Jackson an apology. That's all I got to say. Black America, we owe Jesse an apology. And I'll probably do a show about that. But yeah, this round said that McCain was talking about how they was targeting black folks after Katrina, hunting them down. And people said, man, she's crazy. But what's crazy was to think that people actually believe that black folks was eating people less than 24 hours after Katrina happened. I mean, you went from eating Popeyes just less than a day ago. We was eating Popeyes and beignets. We call it beignets, them donuts, whatever. Eating, Mardi Gras crawfish. And we go from doing that to eating people in less than 24 hours. And then like how they had the pictures, because this is before social media. This happened in 2005. Really, people like Facebook and all that. Then MySpace, maybe 2006. All that stuff started coming to the forefront. So there was a time before social media. So you had the big networks telling us how to control the narrative, but they showing people like, they show the white people in the water with stuff. They surviving. Black people in the water with a loaf of bread, they looting. Your city is underwater. It's like the lost city of Atlantis, and you trying to survive. It's like the weather is horrible. It's hot. It's humid. You in some contaminated water. Got gators and snakes and all types of things in the water. Dead people in the water, and you wade in the water. And you got a loaf of bread that's soggy, and they say you looting. They kind of label you a thug, and you just trying to survive. You got people stranded on rooftops with their love. Even the great Fats Domino, the one of the architects of rock and roll, he lived in the Ninth Ward. He was living like a king. He's American music royalty. He was a bigger artist at one point than Elvis Presley back in his day, and he was living in the Ninth Ward, and he lost, I think, everything. So these were people that should have been better respected. These were American citizens that were neglected. It wasn't just George Bush, but Ye summed it up. George Bush, meaning that the U.S. government, like Michael Jackson, saying they don't really care about us. And Kanye, give him, and it hurt George Bush feeling. I believe to this day that Kanye called him out like that, but it is what it is, a hit dog collar, right? But they ran Sidney McKinney out of Congress, and she told the truth that what happened on the Danziger Bridge with the law enforcement killing them black men, what happened with the brother and the police put him in a burnt out car. They unalive him some type of way, and they burned him up in a car. And there's other stories, and how black folks was marching to dry and higher land, and they were denied entry into Gretna Parish, right? They were turned around at gunpoint by white people. These black folks leaving New Orleans. They're not there to try to. They treated illegals crossing the border better than they treated black folks post Katrina in New Orleans, in Louisiana back in 2005. These were American citizens. Mostly people, all they knew was New Orleans and never left their neighborhoods and stuff like that. And you send them to Oregon and Utah and places like that where there's hardly any black people. And thinking they're supposed to be adjusted, but think about there was a big land grab. Think about how New Orleans looked post Katrina compared to how it looked before Katrina. And I feel sorry for the folks who never experienced New Orleans before Katrina, because it was a unique, amazing place, and it still is, but it's totally different. It's that Negro removal, that urban renewal, gentrification thing going on. And they really tried to do it here in Memphis, and that's another story. But I think I warmed it up for y'all. Let me see. Let's check out the chat. Tell your friends, man. Okay, sister. Lauren said, I'll never forget those weeks. Not only were the levees blown up, but the poor people didn't get FEMA trailers. And then when they did, they were made of toxic materials. BFF. Okay, same as Katrina flu. Wow. Yeah, I remember when those FEMA trailers were contaminated. I'm glad. See, we got to talk about this, because what they're doing right now is they're trying to scrub all this information off the internet. Like I talk about how they're trying to get rid of the cases I looked into, or the Dick Gregory videos, or Judge Joe Brown and Dr. Randy Short. We got to talk about Katrina. This happened before social media. It's like the Gen 6, Marcus Jones, the brother, the ancestor, who introduced me to Baba Dick Gregory. Gina 6. People don't even remember Gina 6, right? Gina 6 was crazy. It was a crazy thing. You had these 6 black boys down in Gina, Louisiana. They were trying to put them in jail forever and ever. Y'all forget about that. Y'all talk about the Central Park 5, but nobody talks about the Gina 6 no more. And they try to put them in jail forever. And what happened with me was, how I got involved was I was one of the first media here in America to interview some of the key players in the Gen 6 situation, and Gen 6 movement. This is before, I believe, the September 20th, 2007 March on Gina. But this is back in the summer of 2007. I just started We All Be News Radio, whatever, back in January 7th of 2007. So several months later, I started this thing. And I'm in the middle of this Gen 6 thing, interviewing the parents, the legal counsel, all types of interesting personalities, activists, as well as I believe the brother Tony Brown, who's a well-known, respected talk show host, radio talk show host down in Louisiana, in northern Louisiana, Tony Brown show. He the one that coined the term Gen 6. So that's the importance of black media in terms of controlling the narrative. He's doing his job. So I interviewed them. Next thing you know, and Al Sharpton, Michael Baston, some other. Michael Baston was big, and that's the power of black radio. Michael Baston was able to get out information to our people to help us organize and strategize. I give him props for using his platform to help with that. But Tony Brown did it first. Local radio, local media, local news. He made it happen. And that kind of died down. But what I love about Marcus Jones, he was a good brother, man. I just think about him from time to time. He was living in Dallas. He was from Gina, Louisiana, was living in Dallas at the time, but came back because his son was facing life in prison over some BS. Because they was, they beat this white boy that went to school with them. But it was a series of incidents. This is why I do what I do, because we got to remember that we remembered. You know what I'm saying? It all started in Gina High School, from my understanding. They had a tree in the yard of the school that was allegedly labeled the whites only tree. That only allegedly white folks or white people or white students could be under that tree at any given time. So it had a couple of racial incidents between the black and white students, and then it culminated in some of the black students being allegedly assaulting this white student, this fellow white student. And I heard some situations. I'm not blaming the victim, but he might have did or said something that set him off a certain way. But this is in Louisiana. And so the local law enforcement prosecution was looking to throw the book at these guys and make an example out of them and charge them excessively as adults. These are kids, and we got to make it a point to stop calling our young black boys men when they are victimized. Tamir Rice was 12. He was not a man. Emmett Till was 14. He was not a man. These guys were teenagers in high school. They were not men. Okay. And Marcus, man, he was so passionate. He was one of them old school brothers, man. He loved his son, even though it didn't work out with the son's mother. He saw his son was in trouble. He came back, quit his job, whatever he did, and moved back to Gina. Was on the front lines for his son. But what he wanted most was to help black people get the justice that we deserve. You see how in the state of California they denied the vote on reparations. They used so-called skin folk who may be kinfolk, but they ain't friend folk. You use black politicians to block reparations for black people in California. And then you got the nerve to approve, or in the process of approving, $150,000 to go towards home ownerships for illegals, not even legal immigrants or migrants, illegals. You got black folks that been here for decades. They finally been here for centuries. We have not got the justice that we deserve, and we got to fight for that, people, by any means. We got to fight for that. We got to fight. We earned it. Our ancestors earned that through their blood, sweat, and tears, and then years. We got to stand on business, and we got to punish. I'm proud of my brothers and sisters out in Cali. They said we're going to punish Kamala for this. Since you're going to disrespect black people, because people don't understand, California was made by black people. Yes. San Francisco was founded on the land that was owned by a brother. A black man owned the land, which is now known as San Francisco. Black folks own major real estate in what is now known as Los Angeles. Look up the sister Biddy Mason, who was with the what's her name? Biddy Mason. I got it right. I'm looking in the chat. I'm gonna let y'all look that up. Take a look. It's online. Biddy Mason, who was with the Mormons. You know how the Mormons feel about black people. And with their magic underwear, whatever they got. But she owned a lot of real estate. And then Pico, the Pico Boulevard or Pico, that's named after a black Latino, a black Mexican, who was a major politician in California. So Pico, one of the most well-known streets in Los Angeles, named for a black Mexican. And that's an interesting story to get into. But I think he was the last Mexican governor of California, I'm not mistaken. Y'all can look all that up. But Pico Boulevard, right? All my Cali folks. But shout out to California for standing on business. Black California. Don't forget what Kamala did not do for Matrice Richardson, a black American woman, black made American, black black American from United States of America woman who, this is before Sandra Bland. Oh my God, thinking about Sandra Bland. But yeah, okay. But getting back, but that Gina moment was a real big thing. And that's when I really got my feet 10 toes down into this game. Was the Gina 16, my first year of doing podcasting. That's 2007. So unfortunately, we lost Brother Marcus back in December of 2014. And he died doing what he loved, which was helping people. And I don't still understand how he died. Really, I think there's something suspicious about his death because some of the people that were involved in the Gen 6 movement, like some of the family, it was a sister whose brother was one of the Gen 6. She was unalive in a very crazy way. I believe her and her boyfriend, Bell Bondsman, somewhere in Louisiana, was found uh deleted under mysterious circumstances. That's all. And I hate I don't have the full details, but I knew a little bit of. But basically, she was very outspoken about what was going on with her brother. And like after that, Gen 16 went his way. They took her out of here. Some people, I don't know who, but she was taken out of here. But like with Marcus Jones, he had a chance to see his son graduate from, I believe, Southern University with honors. Like, a lot of you guys, they were athletes, and I think his son wanted to play football. I believe he played football for Southern University, but he did, from my understanding, graduate with honors. Then some days later, not that long after, brother Marcus was on a truck of a friend going down the highway, and they were gathering supplies for a cookout for homeless people. Like Marcus was gathering resources to do a cookout for homeless people or people down on their luck. He was just a phenomenal people person. And so as they were driving down the highway, somehow he fell out the truck. He was in the back of the truck, in back, and somehow he fell out the truck, and then it was like a final destination thing. He got ran over by a car or two or whatever. And he was just in his early 40s. And I didn't know he was passed on until like when Dick Gregory became an ancestor, and I looked him up. I tried to find him and found out he was already gone almost 3 years before Dick Gregory. But he wanted to use the Gen 6 thing as a way to help Black people get justice. The legacy, we are the legacies of Dred Scott. The Supreme Court said that Dred Scott has no rights, that him or no Dred Scott nor his descendants have any rights that the white man is bound to respect by law. And so what he wanted to do, or what was put in his ear, the brilliant Professor Charles Ogletree of Harvard University, he wanted to do this thing where this could have been our Brown v. Board moment for Black people in America. And basically, it was compromise. A so-called leadership sold us out. There's so many different things I can get into. I'm not going to go down there. I want to get back on the topics at hand. But it was a rabbit hole. So many people sold us out. And then they character assassinated brother Marcus Jones. And, they try to get him set up like, he was disrespectful to women, which he wasn't. When I was around him, he was a perfect gentleman. I was able to get him a speaking engagement at Washington University in St. Louis through my sister, who's a Delta Sigma Theta. Her organization wanted to bring more light about Gen 6, and they wanted to bring brother Marcus Jones and Tony Brown, the radio personality, to St. Louis. And I wish we would have recorded that. It was a historic moment. I was the MC or moderator of the event, and it was amazing. But he conducted himself as a perfect gentleman. And I just think some people attach themselves to Marcus as a way to get in good for their own benefits. And I'm going to leave it at that. But God bless that brother. I actually had a chance to interview his mom. And Marcus was her favorite child, from my understanding. Like, he was an unexpected child. She had him when she was older. She was an older woman. She had like grown kids and stuff. And Marcus was that pleasant surprise. So I'm glad he was able to see his son graduate with honors, but his heart was really in helping people. I'm never going to forget Marcus Jones. I'm going to talk about him as long as I live. I'll make sure people know about him as well, too. And that's important to me. But anyway, what I'm supposed to talk about? Yeah, I want to talk about this. This is really bothering me. Let me see in the chats. I want to thank y'all for taking time out in the chats. Let me see. Oh, yeah, that's right. That show Treme, I love. It's one of my favorite TV shows. Treme is great to learn. Yes, about the Katrina, post-Katrina stuff. They talk about some of the cases I took, like the Denziger Bridge incident, as well about the brother who was like, unalived by the police, and they burnt them in the car. And I'm glad you brought this up. What is the story, Datria Delaney? Has there been an update release? all these different varying updates seems a little suspicious at this point. Yeah, I want to talk about Datria Delaney. That's actually my blood cousin. And this is why I'm doing this. I don't care how my so-called family thinks about it. I'm very disappointed. The village failed this sister in life, and it's like we failing her in death. So let's talk about Datria Delaney, right? Datria Delaney was what is, I guess, is still. I mean, she's no longer with us in the physical sense, but I mean, she's an ancestor now. She was just 23 years old. Um, she was leaving the house of her father, my cousin, my blood cousin, leaving his other baby mama's house. I just looked up to this woman, and she was staying with her, I believe, at one point. If not during that time, she was. I think she was living with her at that point, and then she had a ring bell camera that captured her on July 29th, the morning of July 29th of 2024, Monday morning, leaving the premises, and she walking away from the ring camera, and you don't see her anymore. But next thing you know, not too long after that, some car headlights come on, as if they was waiting for her to leave the premises. I don't know if she got in or not like that, but when she left and we could no longer see her, the car headlights came on, right? And before I get too deep into this, let me do this. Because we all be in it to support the movement, y'all. Because I'm surprised that there's been a local media blackout on this case. But I said, not on my watch. I'm saying I'm gonna do something about it. I'm gonna talk about it. We're gonna make this material go viral, and we're gonna show y'all ways y'all can help directly with the situation with Datria Delaney, who is my cousin. But I want to humanize her. I think it's very important to humanize this person, humanize her. I'm gonna play a video of her in her own words, and you remember, y'all, she was just 23 years old. I know some of y'all got kids and grandkids in their 20s. So I mean, just think about that. And she had an interest in life. She went through a lot of stuff. And I'm just trying, what is going on? It's like it's still a Mercury retrograde. I know we in the aftermath, the afterglow, whatever period of the Mercury retrograde, but I still have some funny business going on with my stuff. So please forgive me. Please be patient. Please, 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 please. See, I could do it like this. How about this? Help me, God. Help me. Help me, Lord. Help me. Please. Okay. We about to get it done. We all be in it to win it. I just want to play this video I have. Let me see what I'm gonna do. And thank y'all for being so patient, but this is bigger than me, because sometimes I think I want to do shows, and I'm gonna do a short show, and it'll be a real long show. And but yeah, let's talk about this. Let's see. Trying to find. But yeah, man, but check in with your people, man. Don't be a stranger to your people. Check in on your people, man. This is very unfortunate, but this is my cousin.
Mom, I was just showing out because I want you to post that video on TikTok, because I was showing out because everybody be showing out, so why not show out? I'm not gonna cuss on this video, but I'm gonna let you know on the last video I was cussing, and I'm sorry. I was cussing. Who cares though? Not me, not you. Not the world. Just us. I love you, and I hope you have a safe, blessed, legendary day. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate you. Well, nobody been able to take care of me like you do. Not even my own father. He couldn't even do nothing for me. So what make me think that the next man can do something for me? He can't do nothing but help me. That's it, that's all. But I love you. Okay? This your boo. And I'm signing out. Excuse my hair. Let me slick it up just in case you want to post this. Look at it. It's still gonna stick up like an extendo clip. The Dominicans burn my hair off. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh, that's embarrassing. I love you. Bye. Don't you love me? Because I'm so goofy with my drunk self. Not even drunk whole time. Words never slurred. But they gonna keep on taking me back and back and back until you come and rescue me. I love you. And I hate that I couldn't complete you. But now, June 22nd, we back. We in Vegas, baby. See you later, Mom. I love you.
And that was my cousin, Datria Delaney, who was truly, you could tell she was a sweet soul. I mean, she'd been through a lot of stuff. From my understanding, she had a very rough life, a hard knock life, but she still had a sweet demeanor about her person. She was a beautiful soul. You could tell it just shines through. And I remember the last time I actually remember seeing her or interacting with her was when she was in the children's hospital, Labana Children's Hospital. She was about maybe 16 or 17. And she was having, I guess she had a medical situation. And even when she was in a hospital bed, she was such good cheer. Her mom was there, and her mom's best friend was there along with her little son. And my mom, we were there. I want to say her grandma, I think Ann was there as well, if I'm not mistaken. But when I recall that, I can remember her being, even when she was going through her aches and pains, really uh, loving family, loving being around family, feeling like, very of good cheer. So when I heard about what happened to her, it's very crazy to think about, because what's interesting, like, this is around the same time her grandfather was passing. Like, he was, really sick in the hospital, and the family, her mom was taking it real hard. And from my understanding, she took it real hard. But when his funeral came, she was nowhere around because she was missing. I believe his funeral was I want to say, was it early August? I'm not sure. Uh, Maybe in due time we'll have family on to talk about this case. But I remember I talked to her father years ago. I interviewed my cousin Datrin Delaney a couple times. My cousin Datrin was in the military. He was actually stationed at one point at Fort Hood, down in Fort Hood, Texas, and that's a weird place. As far as SIOPs, so many people that go missing in Fort Hood. There's a lot of crazy stuff that go on, like Fort Bragg, Fort Hood. All these military bases is really interesting. But he was in the same unit as Private First Class Jessica Lynch and Shoshana Johnson. These was the two women that were kidnapped by the Iraqi forces during the second invasion back in the back in the 2000s. We went to war with Iraq a second time. And so he was in that entourage, in their unit, excuse me. And he was telling me that he would never let his daughter join the military. He see what they do to women in the military. And I can attest to some of the horror stories that I heard from women, that I read about women in the military. Because I remember I interviewed Private First Class Lavina Johnson's father, who was an Army, clinical psychiatrist or psychologist. I get them mixed up, but I can remember like it was yesterday, because I just came out the road going to DC for Obama's first inauguration back in 2009. And this was one of the first interviews I did, was interview Private First Class Lavina Johnson's father. And he come from a family that's generations deep in military service. And the real reason why Lavina joined the military was to get money. She wanted to make her own money and save for film school. She wanted to go to California to go to film school to get into, making movies or TV shows or whatever. Her parents were apprehensive about her joining the service, but she said, "Mom and Dad, don't worry. I'm not going to be stationed overseas. I'm just going to be doing recruiting stateside." But what people got to understand, when you sign your dotted name, when you sign your name on the dotted line with the military, you become property of the U.S. government, meaning that you are property of Uncle Sam. So whatever Uncle Sam say goes, and it doesn't matter. I'll be honest with you. They could do whatever they want to do with you and tell your family a different story. Case in point, what happened to the football player Pat Tillman? Like, his family was told one thing. He had a state funeral, right? And John McCain, all these powerful people came out to pay their respects to Pat Tillman, who got killed under questionable circumstances in Afghanistan, I believe. So his family didn't buy the official story, so they did their own investigation and found out that I think he was taken out of here by friendly fire by his own people. And you don't know what that really went down with that, because it was a phenomenon. I'm not saying it happened in this case, but in Vietnam, soldiers, it was a phenomenon known as fragging. That's Fragging. Fragging is when, like, if you in the military back in the day, I talked to Vietnam people, vets and stuff, where you had situations where, let's say some black soldiers had this white officer who was very racist and disrespectful in training camp, or they were very arrogant or whatever like that. And you had cases where, you in line of duty, call of duty, doing comeback, and maybe you see the white officer, whatever, and maybe you throw a grenade, or maybe you point your gun where your white officer is at, and then something happened to him. Now, that's one version I heard of fragging. And so it was actually a woman who was a nurse in Vietnam that told me about this phenomenon, known as, it's well known. I don't think it's just black soldiers taking out white officers, but we call it friendly fire now, right? It was my bad. It was an accident. So I believe that's what happened to Pat Tillman. That's what his family ended up finding out. And what's interesting about Pat Tillman, he was a patriot, in my opinion, but his family, I think he came from a family of atheists. They weren't believers, but they believe in telling the truth and respecting the truth. And I'm glad they did, because there's a documentary about that, how the family was able to find out what actually happened. But with Lavina Johnson, they sent her to Iraq. And she was surprised. Her family was surprised. But they sent her to Iraq. She thought she was going to be staying stateside recruiting, but they put her out in the field, in the battlefield. And I want to say right before her 21st birthday, I believe back in July of 2005, they found her deleted. Somebody or something happened. The tent that where she was found was set on fire. It seemed like somebody was trying to set her body on fire to hide the evidence. And ooh boy, the family in St. Louis got the body back, and they found it was strange that her white gloves were glued to her hands, like they had the white gloves on. They couldn't, it was like glue, so nobody would remove the white gloves. But the family did not trust the story the military was telling them about what happened, because they said that she did it to herself, that she self-deleted, that she did it. She pointed a gun and did it to herself. I guess she put the gun muzzle, whatever you call it, in the mouth and just let it go. But the thing about it is, when they did the second autopsy, they found out that she was assaulted down there. She was assaulted, and that somebody or somebody's poured some type of liquid on her nether regions to cover up DNA evidence of assault. And then she had broken fingernails. She had defensive wounds. A lot of things wasn't adding up. So, from my understanding, you look at Lavina Johnson. It's Lavena Johnson, and I believe that they claim that the weapon that took her out of here belonged to somebody that was like a top tier level contractor with the army, with the military, a military contractor, possibly did it. And I believe the family actually know the possible suspect name. This happened back in 2005, and we're in 2024. And been like, I never heard of that story. But there's a lot of stories of women in the military who report improper conduct by their commanding officers or higher ups, and they take themselves out of here. But they will always tell. A lot of times they will tell their loved ones back home, if something happened to me, I didn't do it because I reported so and so, sergeant so and so, or captain or lieutenant so and so. And if something happened to me, let it be known, regardless of what they tell you, I didn't do it. And you can look up the UK. This stuff is crazy. This is our own people doing it to each other, right? So you ain't even worrying about the enemy on the outside. It's the enemy from within that we should be more concerned about. The barbarians are already within. They're not outside the gates. You understand? It's like this is the Roman Empire. Last days of the Roman Empire we live in. We're living in biblical times. But get back to my cousin. I know I just did around. I just want to let y'all know about that. But there have been no media reports. Local news is good about reporting the ratchetness of Memphis, Tennessee. She disappeared July 29th, or allegedly she contacted her mom, tried to touch bases with her, and she wasn't able to touch bases with her. Her sister says she was contacted by Datria by text that same day, I believe, according to some of these videos. And then it probably could have been somebody else that contacted the sister though. It may not have been Datria. She could have already been out of here by that time. But what my understanding is that the streets already knew what happened. The streets be talking. The streets are undefeated. You know, the internet is undefeated. The streets be talking. The streets be talking. So they already knew she was out of here. And at the end of last month, at the end of August, they found what was left of her in a wooded area in Memphis, Tennessee. In the area of Memphis, Tennessee. See, I'm saying all this. I don't know specific details because guess what? There's been no news story locally about what happened to Datria. There's been nothing. Every day I go on my phone, on my laptop, I refresh my browser. There is nothing from local media about what happened to my cousin or what went on. All we got is stuff that's like her own family and loved ones, friends, whatever, posting stuff on social media. Then you got black content creators. That's why it's important to have black media. You got black content creators throughout the country on YT, on TikTok. And TikTok, another one. TikTok banned me for doing stuff like this. TikTok, I don't know why they banned me, but they banned me, and now it's coming out that they are targeting black content creators on these platforms, and I've been very targeted. I'm definitely a targeted individual, but this is not about me. But this is people from the community or from this everyday people talking about this case is what's keeping it alive. But the media has not covered this case, quote unquote, officially. My dear brother Thaddeus Matthews, I believe have not touched this case, but I believe he's in Facebook jail. They constantly putting this brother in Facebook jail. It's not right to put the cussing pastor in Facebook jail. It's ridiculous because I look at the stuff they have on Facebook or X. You got all types of weirdo stuff on TikTok. You got child exploitation on TikTok. You got people just cursing up a storm, saying all type of racial slurs on TikTok. I try to talk about history and information on TikTok. They banned me. Go figure. So this is my life. But this is what I want to say. I'm gonna post the They're doing a GoFundMe, which is unfortunate. I mean, she was just 23 years young. They doing a GoFundMe, right? I'm gonna read what the mom, Jen, said about the situation. I want y'all to think about what she's saying, and then we're gonna talk about it. This is what Jen said. Mm-mm-mm. There is so much stuff going on, folks. Man, y'all, we gotta love on each other, man. Just if you have a grudge, you gotta fall out with your people, man. Get right with your people, man. Get right with your people. It's very important that you get right with your people. Let me see. But this is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. hmm I hope y'all enjoy. I'm gonna look at the chats and all that. But I just want to show this screen. Thank y'all for supporting what we do. And we need all the support we get. It's a couple things, man. I just ain't gonna just talk about everything tonight, but let's talk about this, right? This is my cousin, Datria, Justice for Datria Delaney. Okay, let's read. Let's read, because reading is still fun and mental. Reading is fun and mental. Let's read about this case, okay? What her mom, Jen, had to say. Hello, my name is Jennifer. I am the mother of the missing young girl by the name of Datria Delaney. It breaks my heart to say that she is no longer with us. Although we all prayed that she would return home safe, they found her remains, and now I need help supporting her funeral arrangements. Anything you donate can help, because I want her homegoing to be as beautiful as possible, just like she was. She didn't deserve to be murdered, and the person that could help me bury her is possibly responsible. Let me read that again. She did not deserve to be murdered, and the person that could help me bury her is possibly responsible. So I have no one to call on to ask for help. I always tried to shield and protect my kids, not knowing that I had to shield and protect them from someone in their home is heartbreaking. Let me read that again. She didn't deserve to be murdered, and the person that could help me bury her is possibly responsible. So I have no one to call on to ask for help. I always tried to shield and protect my kids, not knowing that I had to shield and protect them from someone in their home is heartbreaking. I can't tell it all on here, but I can tell you whatever you guys donate, I will be gracious for it. I have to swallow my pride and come on GoFundMe, because I know I don't have any family or help. My family is very small. Thank you all. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you to everyone who shared, who reached out, who tried to help. Thanks to everyone that did anything to make a difference in trying to find her. All the people who sent me love and condolences. Now it's time I go to social media and ask for help. And when I say anything will help, I truly mean it. Thank you so much. So she's giving her spiel. And think about what she said. She said that it's the basically it's the enemy within. The only people that can betray you are the people that you love. The only people that can betray you are the people that you love. The only people that can betray you are the people that you love, because smiling faces, y'all know about that. Smiling faces. Y'all know smiling faces tell lies or hide lies. And that's a fact. Smiling faces. Okay. So this is how y'all support. If y'all want to support that, let me put it here. But we need to support each other. We need the village. If we failed her in life, we need to help her in death. We need to get justice for Datria Delaney. This could be your daughter. This is my cousin, but this could be your daughter. This could be your cousin, your sister, your mother. She didn't have any kids. But she was 23. She was a child herself, and it's really unfortunate. It really is unfortunate that I'm doing this, and it really bothers me that I have to do this, man. Because I'm not a father right now, but I know if something like this happened to my child, it'll be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. I just like, you know, you don't supposed to bury your kids, and really, when um, they didn't find too much of her, from my understanding. They didn't find she was out there. You got to think about it, she was missing for 3 weeks, and this is Memphis. It's hot and humid, dealing with the elements, dealing with animals. They did not find too much of her to what they call buried. There wasn't too much of her left. You think about that beautiful young lady, and you think about her personality. Who would do that to a person like that? They had that type of soul, that type of light, regardless of her circumstances. She was a beautiful soul. People that I know that actually, hanged out with her, connected with her, they really loved her. And you could tell the outpouring on her social media, on her Facebook, that people really will miss her. And it just it's really unfortunate, right? It really is. And God bless her mom. She just lost her father, and then she lost her daughter. And my cousin Datrin, God bless you, man. I can't comprehend the frustration, the anguish, the sadness that you're enduring right now. I can't, man. And it's just like maybe she should have went to the military. She might have. I mean, you think about it, and I'm saying it because I said, like, people say that the best branch for women to go into the military, according to my aunt and other people, is the Air Force. The Air Force is probably the best branch for women to go into in the military. And I'm not saying I know, but this is really sad. This is really sad. But let me see. Trying to find some information. Thank y'all for y'all patience, man. I'm trying to digest this for myself. Because I'm just disappointed in the media here in Memphis. Ain't one media outlet covered this story. And like there's no obituary. It's frustrating. I don't know when the memorial service is going to be. Don't know anything, man. I'm in the dark. But I know hearsay. I heard people tell me things. I'm not going to disclose a lot of stuff on here because you got to fact check it, you got to vet it. But I just want to get people in the city of good abode on not on one day to recognize that one of the city's daughters have been violated, has been disrespected in life as well as in death, and she deserves justice. Not BS, but justice. I'm trying to look up something. Uh, oh boy, this is crazy. Mm-mm-mm. Make you want to holler, man. But yeah, just check in on your people, man. Check in on your people. I'm just trying to find different things to point out. I think it's very important. I don't think I know it's very important. I'm just going scrolling to her Facebook page. Just trying to look up some stuff. Let me put this on. Go to her Facebook. And I want to see what y'all saying up in here. Thank you, brother Rashawn. Rest in peace, Datria. You said you know some females. How do they like their Air Force experience? Did they tell you? I heard the Air Force was pretty decent with how they treat women. There's more opportunities for women. And then, it's not like, other branches of military service. Let's see. Her daddy didn't do it. Her daddy, she actually was trying to get help from her father. Her father lived out of the state. He lived in a different state. And from my understanding, she actually tried to reach out to her father. She actually was staying with him, my cousin, at one point. Things happened when she was sent back to Memphis, and really that was a mistake. I'm not saying that it's his fault, but she should have stayed in where he was at because she was better off being in that place versus being where she ended up losing her life. And she's from here, but from my understanding, She been through a lot of just messed up situations. Like people always talking about, well, no Tyler Perry movies, they don't depict what's going on with black people. But some black people are living Tyler Perry movies. They are living the Tyler Perry play. And this ain't no joke. I'm not, no, I'm just saying there are certain circumstances that some of my people are caught up in. And sometimes you can't do nothing but pray. And you gotta let God do God. Let God, take the wheel. Yeah, God take the wheel, and God is in control. But no, it wasn't her father. Her mom and her father, they been separated. They don't, he got his own family situation. But I believe that was his eldest child, if I'm not mistaken, Datria. She's named after her father, Datria. Yes, Sister Lawrence, it's really crazy. I know that you feel a lot for people. You got the empathic abilities you have. Yeah, it's unfortunate. We are definitely in the info wars. Yeah, why are we using made up words to take away from the horrors of violent crimes and self inflicted death? I mean, because we are in the matrix, and they program us. We're like lemmings, lab rats, and guinea pigs. You know what I'm saying? We have chosen to be slaves by another name. And everybody says, I'm not a slave. We all slaves, but we are slaves by different things, beings, and things. Different beings and things and themes. So we all got something we dealing with, some type of affliction that they use against us. You said, I noticed there was enough time for her to have got it in the car and to drive away herself. Yeah, but like one thing about those ring bell cameras, they're like motion detectors, like they detect motion nearby. I wish we was able, like, maybe they have street cameras. You know how some places got cameras on the streets, Sky Patrol, whatever. Like, Tyree Nichols, what they did to Tyree Nichols, this guy was in the details because although they try to, manipulate their body cams, the guys who beat to death Tyree Nichols, you still had like police cameras working and stuff like that, capturing things. And I'm wondering, do they have traffic cameras or whatever to capture the movement of that particular vehicle, speeding off or going, turn on his lights and going. So that'll be good to know. But it's weird. A lot of times you think they have all these cameras and security. It's never worked when there's a crime going on. I remember, like, okay, to this week at my apartment complex downtown, we had about maybe 10 plus cars getting broken into. We had 10 plus cars. The postal distribution center is right near where I live at. They had cars got broken into and all this stuff, right? And then like the landlord or the manager of the apartment, she sent an email to us saying that the cameras were offline because we supposed to have this system where there's a camera and then somebody's monitoring the cameras, and then they could get on the speaker to scare or deter people from committing crimes on our property. But the night in the early morning hours, the camera was offline, allegedly. And so these people broke into people's cars, maybe 8 to 10 plus cars on our property alone, got broken into. And that's why I tell people, invest in the car cover. That's the new reality. I when I can't get in the garage in my apartment complex, I put on a car cover. Carcover.com or car covers or carcover.com, whatever. Yeah, she's out of here, man. Hopefully in a better place. My cousin Datria. But let me look on her socials for some information. Let me see. Trying to find, it's like you gotta do on detective work. A lot of these crimes or situations are solved by people on the internet sleuths, right? A lot of stuff gets solved by us. people that's curious. They got a certain type of intellectual curiosity. Yeah, we do all that. We bees that. I'm trying to find something. Maybe I could find it. Let's see. I know I said I'm going to talk about several other things. I thought I'm going to keep it like a 90-minute show, but who sees? We'll see. Thank y'all like for y'all patience and stuff. Appreciate it. Trying to look. Let's see. Okay, there you go. Still getting out this. Seem like it's still dealing with Merchant retrograde. You know, it's over with, supposedly. I'm trying to look for. I took some screenshots and stuff too. I can't really find what I was looking for in the social media right now. Okay, trying to find it. Yeah, this is we gotta. Okay, this is what her mom said. I'm gonna share this because since she got on social media, and I think people want to talk about. I think she want people to share this information. That's why it's on the social media. That's why it's public. So I'm gonna do that, you know, because the ancestors stars are directing me. The universe, so God is directing me. Is imploring me. Okay, implore. Is that the word? To share this information, man. So let me share this. Okay. Can y'all see it? Yeah, I can see it. I don't know how much I'm gonna read it. It says, this is from my mama, Jen, I guess. Her father refused to let her come out of town with him. Her father. I begged him to reconsider, but he demanded she prove her commitment by living with someone unstable. Why couldn't she show her growth out there? Why did she need to stay here in Memphis to prove it? She has changed, and I even offered to cover her plane ticket. He claimed an insurance on her head, a common practice among the wealthy in his area. I was my baby's only one, her sole support. So let me read it again. It said her father refused to let her come out of town with him, her father. I begged him to reconsider, but he demanded she prove her commitment by living with someone unstable. Why couldn't she show her growth out there? Why did she need to stay here in Memphis to prove it? She has changed, and I even offered to cover her plane ticket. He claimed an insurance on her head, a common practice among the wealthy in his area. In his area, I was my baby's only one, her sole support. So you take it for what it is. I ain't gonna read too much into it. Like I would do what Bobby Gregory would say, like before we jump to conclusions about what actually happened. He would say, pray at noon for the truth to come out. I will be praying at noon for all this week for the truth to come out. But what happened to my cousin Datria and the situation? And like I said, people, you just don't know, And it's like you doing. Who am I? I can't judge these people. I can't judge anybody, choices, reasons, motives. Only God really knows for sure what's in a person's heart, mind, and spirit. But I just think this is unfortunate that this happened. Because regardless of what people may feel about each other, a child, a human being, life was lost. And it's just unfortunate. And also, let me see if I can find some other stuff which is interesting. Like I said, I can't share too much because I don't know what's true or what's this or that. You know what I'm saying? This is really, I don't know, sad the way to size it up. I'm trying to find another one I thought I had in here. Let me find it. Thank y'all for y'all patience. Like, there's a lot to do, man. I guess I make it look really easy to do it. I make it look really easy, but there's a lot of work. that goes into this stuff. And thank you, Al Great Dad. This AI or Al Great Dad for your donation, brother or sister or whatever. I think it's Al or AI. We love you madly. That goes a long way. That goes a long way in my gas tank because rent, everything is too dang it high. But I'm trying to find that. I did a screenshot of something of a social media post that I want to put in here for the record. I'm trying to do that. I thought I did got it. Maybe I didn't get it. Yeah, I got it. Just got to put it in there. Let me put it in where I can share it with y'all. And thank y'all for y'all patience. Love you madly. But I want to do my cousin justice because it's just us and we all be in it together. Why can't we be friends? Oh, why can't we be friends? Oh, why can't we be friends? Oh, why can't we be friends? Okay, this is very serious though. But sometimes you gotta have a sense of humor to get through this madness, man. This is not a funny situation by any means, but this is like help me get through it. You know, laughing for me is therapeutic. I ain't talking about that Kamala Harris cackling hyena laugh. No, 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 no. No, this is serious business here. But I don't know, man. I think my journey has prepared me for moments like this. I was thankful for Baba D. Gregory, his wisdom on things and matters like these. Because he used to tell me, like, when it's like Emmett or whatever, it's like a lot of times the world does not remember you by how you live, but the world remembers you by how you died. It's not by how you lived. It's rather by how you died. You think about Emmett Till. You know, we don't really know too much about Emmett. We know what the family and friends, whatever, say. But I'm saying Emmett was taken down here at 14. But we remember the way he was kidnapped and tortured and mutilated and killed. You think about even George Floyd. George Floyd was no saint. If you look at what been said about him, his criminal history, I'm not saying on things what he has done or did. Not saying that he deserved the way he died, but we remember George Floyd for the way he died, not how he lived. You know what I'm saying? Because all that was caused by a counterfeit 20. I'm not saying that he did that on purpose, but I'm saying that went down because of a counterfeit 20. From my understanding, it's so much more to that though. But what I'm saying is George Floyd was not doing Malcolm X or Dr. King type of work, from my understanding. But because the way he died, we remember him. And then Joe Biden, really, to me, is like, it's weird. He said his death was bigger than King's. Dr. King's? No, 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 no. I'm not gonna get into all that, but George Floyd is not Dr. King. He's not Medgar Evers. He's not Malcolm X. He's who he is. And because the way he died, things happen, whatever. But I'm not gonna put him on the level of Dr. King. Got to stop that. That got to stop. And no disrespect to the dead. No disrespect. But let me share this screen. So let's see. Okay. So it says, please share this from Victoria Rhymes. My son, big sister, Datria Delaney, is missing. She was last seen leaving my home at 1:09 a.m. the Central Time. The video is posted. All I can see is headlights from a car turn on as if they had been sitting outside waiting for her. Please help. If you know her, if you know, hear, or see anything, please contact me, her father, mother, or sister ASAP. She is brown skinned with blue contacts and long knotless braids. She was last wearing a spaghetti strap black bodysuit and Nike slides. Okay, this was posted August the 2nd. She was saw on that Ring camera thing on July 29th. So this is like about 3 days later? Maybe not 3 days, about 4 days. August 30th, 31st. First, not August, excuse me, July 30th, then July 31st, and August 1st. I think about 4 days, right? Give or take. So she posted this. This is a woman who I guess she was staying with, and my cousin's other baby mama. So I mean, she posted that and she provided the ring camera thing. And 'cause I was wondering how these black content creators got it, but they got it from her social media post. So I respect the fact that she did come out with that information. But my problem is, where is Action News 5? Where is Fox 13? Where is Channel 3? I don't see Commercial Appeal. I don't see uh Memphis Daily News. I believe it's called Memphis Daily News. I don't see no Memphis mean the Tri-State Defender. Nobody, WDIA, nobody's talking about what happened to my cousin Datria. It's only we all be. Only we all be care what happened. So this is the thing. This is the thing, all right? Let me remove that. Um, Memphis is a distribution hub, right? You know, Memphis is in the middle of the country. There's a lot of things that come through Memphis, a lot of distribution. You know, we're on the Mississippi River, I-55, 69, whatever. And this is a place, drug trafficking, human trafficking goes on in Memphis. This is a point where that stuff come through. So I thought that she might have been trafficked, traffic. We call traffic hit or traffic. I thought she could have got caught up because I don't know, man. I just, people telling me things, and I'm like, man, that was going on. Like she's just 23, and she just lived this like life that was like, in terms of like she lived a life that she was exposed to a lot of different things. And I mean, she seemed like she's an old soul. She's been through a lot. She don't, it's some people that don't always look like their troubles or worries and stuff like that. But I hope her soul is at rest if that's possible. But it's weird because I don't know the situation in terms of there's no media paper trail outside of social media and black content creators about this. And I wanted to add my voice to that chorus. What is going on with this case? Now I've been told things have been happening from a law enforcement point of view, but it has not been made public as of yet. But it seemed like there is a suspect. Uh, According to the mom, there is a suspect, alleged person that she knew really well that may have been involved allegedly in this situation. But like Baba Dick Gregory, the wisdom of Dick Gregory, I'm gonna pray for the truth to come out at noon. And like I said, this really bothers me. And like I don't, it got to be tough to be a parent if something happened to your child was assaulted, if your child disappeared. I can't imagine the agony of a person not knowing what happened to their kid. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, to have your child violated or disappeared. It got to be, because this reminded me of Lorenzen Wright, the basketball player case years ago. They finally found out who did it. It was, like I tell people, like I just said, or said on this podcast, on this broadcast, we all be in it, baby. The only people that can betray you are those that you love. Notice I didn't say those who love you, because what type of love is that? Those that you choose to love are the only people that can betray you. Lorenzen was betrayed by the woman that used to be his wife, that gave him his children, that gave him his legacies. That's the one who betrayed him. You know, it took years, but the truth finally came out. And what's crazy to me? I met Lorenzen Wright at the gas station at the Circle K at the intersection of Hatch Cross and Winchester. He was killed near those apartment complexes just down the street from that. Or I guess up the street from there. He was killed in no apartment complex. This guy was almost about 7 feet tall, just about, a big dude. And by the time they found his remains, this happened in the summer too. He was basically bone and just decomposed real bad. It was hardly nothing left of him. You know what I'm saying? Because he was out in the elements. The hot humid sun of Memphis, of Delta, for weeks. And then like my cousin, you see how she looked on their ring camera. They don't really have enough to bury her, from my honest. They don't really have enough for anything of her. Just remnants. This is like just after a couple weeks of being missing. So man, like I said, I'm just gonna pray for the truth to come out at noon. But I want to make sure I create content I believe somebody that's blood should say something. I already know I'm gonna get a lot of pushback for coming out like this. I'm not gonna take this down. It is what it is. I'm gonna put it out there. I just wish I could have been there for her in life instead of trying to be there for her in death to try to get justice for her. It's very unfortunate. It's been trouble to me ever since I found out about this situation with her. Um, I can't imagine. I do not even want to think about what I would have done or what I would do if I was ever put in this type of situation with a child of mine being violated or being unalive or being deleted or being murdered. At that point, I don't think I would care about my own well-being. I'll be that much gone. I don't want to ever find out what I'll be capable of doing if I was ever put in a situation like this. That's all I got to say on that. I mean, but y'all, if y'all want to support, like I said, if y'all, oh man, if y'all want to support this, like you can help the mom out. Put up the GoFundMe again. Support out the best you can. She said that the dad took out allegedly some life insurance. I have life insurance myself. I had it for about 20 plus years. I pay on it and all that stuff. And I believe people should have life insurance, be honest with you. I don't believe people should go through life thinking they're going to be like a vampire. But I do believe some people are vampires, though. That's another story. That's another podcast. I'm not going to get into that tonight. But support this if you want to. If you feel the need to support this. And hopefully I can come out with an update, said please help, #justice for Datria Delaney. Okay? Are we good on that, y'all? We're not good on it, but we're gonna move on from this. And I want to talk about this because I'm just a weirdo, right? I'm weird. Okay, I admit I'm a weirdo. But I'm not like some creep. I'm a weird, but I'm not creepy. At least I don't think I'm creepy. But I want to talk about this because Emmett Till stays on my mind. Emmett Till lives in my head in a lot of ways, especially around. I mean, I'm one of them people that like to remember anniversaries and stuff like that. If I could find, I hope I got it in here. There's been so much stuff going on. Let me see. Trying to find, I just uploaded something. Hopefully this is it. Okay. All right. I want to play something. Emmett Till anniversary, like, August 28th was the 69th anniversary of the kidnapping, the torturing, and the murdering of Emmett Lewis Till down the Mississippi Delta. August 28th, 1955, he was kidnapped basically at gunpoint from his great uncle Mose Wright's home in the Delta. And he was taken to a barn and tortured and mutilated, killed. Then they threw his body. See, those people get it wrong. He didn't throw his body into the Tallahatchie River. They threw his body into the black bayou. It was the Black Bayou. It was a bayou that led into the Tallahatchie River, where they ended up discovering his body. While I guess a father and son, I believe, was going fishing. They found his body sticking out of the water, even though it was tied to like a 70 to 80 pound cotton gin fan. That's just God. God wanted his body to be discovered. It's like what Dick Gregory would say, it's not always how you live, but how you died that the world remembers you. So the world remembers Emmett Till not because of how he lived, but because of how he died. And it was a pivotal point, a touchstone in the civil rights movement, because you had Dr. T.I.M. Howard. We don't even know who this guy is today, but they had an autobiography. They updated the title. They called him the Black Maverick. Dr. T.I.M. Howard was the wealthiest black man in Mississippi back in the 40s and the 50s. He was a successful surgeon. He had a practice up in Mound Bayou, one of the first black towns in America. This in the Mississippi Delta, not that far from Memphis. He had a practice. He created the first public swimming pool for black children, for black people in the state of Mississippi. He is the Jegna, the person who helped train Medgar Evers and his brother Charles Evers, Fannie Lou Hamers. So he was a leader among leaders. When he got ran out of Mississippi in fear of his life with his wife, he settled in Chicago, and he ended up developing Jesse Jackson. He gave Jesse Jackson the seed money to start his organization, Operation Push. He gave him the seed money in his mansion, and but he lived there, and it's because of Dr. Howard that we know about the Emmett Till case, because he actually helped finance a private investigation with Mega. He worked with Mega Evans, but he helped finance an investigation to what happened to Emmett Till, and he knew back then that there were a lot of people involved in killing. Maybe 11 to 13 people were involved, according to the research done by Dr. Howard and Mega and all them. There was more than just 2 people involved in killing Emmett Till and kidnapping him. And he criticized the FBI about not really bringing the heat to this case, and he got put on, I guess, Jacob Hoover's enemies list. Jacob Hoover, they say he was passing. He was like connected to the Hoovers of the Black Hoovers down in Mississippi. Macomb. Is it like well, Brandy the singer's from? It's that place. I'm trying to think. Where Brandy from? Brandy Norwood. We know Brandy. It's somewhere in Mississippi. Brandy. Let me see what she was born in trying to see where she was born. Macomb, Mississippi. I had it right. She's from Macomb. So there was legends some Black Hoovers down in Macomb, Mississippi, that was warned by J. Edgar Hoover, the director of the FBI, to never expose that he was Black, or he'll get rid of all of them. He'll wipe them off the map. So yeah, he was on J. Edgar Hoover's enemies list. And then also Dr. Howard, he raised money. He was one of the first Black leaders in the country to raise money for the family of Malcolm X. He raised money to take care of Malcolm X's widow and his young family. So he did a lot of work, and he was a doctor. And I believe one of the reasons why he's not celebrated like he is because he's controversial. He was a Black Republican. He was a proud Black Republican. But also he did abortions. He was into deleting babies. I think he believed in eugenics to a certain point. He did abortions, and the reason why I think he was able to stay in Mississippi that long too was because he did abortions not just for Black people, but for permanent white people. He did abortions, so he knew their skeletons and stuff. So I guess the white folks allowed him some leeway to operate. But when the Emmett Till mom came down to Mississippi to go to the suspect killer's trial, the brothers J.W. Malum and Roy Bryant trial, she stayed with Dr. Howard. Dr. Howard was a man. She was so comfortable with Dr. Howard because Dr. Howard had Black security detail. He had Black men with guns around the clock on the property. She stayed in his mansion down in Mound Bayou. Her, I believe, and U.S. Representative Charles Diggs. See, they wrote him out the book, out the movies and TV show they did about Emmett Till recently. They did not acknowledge the fact that a United States representative from Michigan, Charles Diggs, was also down there in Mississippi with Mammy Till and her father, along with Dr. Howard. See, that's why it's important that we tell our stories, because they're going to keep on rewriting it until they get it the way they want to get it, right? So we still need to do a Emmett Till story. We need to do a Dr. Howard movie. And shout out to the Betos, Dr. David and Linda Beto. They did, I think, the first biography on Dr. Howard. It was originally called Black Maverick, but it's called something else. But I say all this to say that when I was in Chicago, before I went back home, I made it my mission to make a pilgrimage to Emmett Till's resting place in Alsip. It's a suburb outside, or village or suburb outside of Chicago, Alsip, Illinois, to Burr Oak Cemetery. Now, Burr Oak is a historic Black cemetery. Not only Emmett Till is buried there, but some of my favorite people in Black history are buried there. One of my favorite singers of all time, who just had a heavenly birthday on August 29th. August 29th is the birthday also Charlie Parker, of Michael Jackson. I want to say Albertina Walker, the Queen of Gospel, whatever. And the great Dinah Washington. I know y'all love Aretha, y'all love Whitney, but ain't nobody like Dinah Washington. I tell you that. What a difference a day makes. I want to be loved with inspiration. I want to be loved starting tonight. She's saying, I love Dinah Washington. I love her, but she's buried there. But I didn't have enough. I was just focused on going to Emmett Till's place and space. And when I did, like I recorded, I did my trumpet tribute, whatever, cornet, and spoke my tongues. And I wish him early happy birthday that I uploaded to the We All Be TV2 channel not too long ago. And when I was editing some of the footage I did, I found out something that was weird. And it was like just several days ago I discovered this, was that I was singing, I know it was the blood. But anyway, let me just play this clip and let me just shut up and play this right quick so we could. I think I'm covering everything. I think I'll make a decent time. Thank y'all for y'all patience and love and care. And happy 9-on-1 day. We still got about 33 minutes left in 9-on-1 day in Memphis, Tennessee. Can you dig it, baby? But I want to play this. I want to see if I can see anything. Do you see what I see on We All Be? News Free Dixie for the 21st century. And I know it was the blood. I know it was the blood. I know it was the blood for me. One day when I was lost, he died upon the cross, and I know it was the blood for me. Goodbye for now, brother Emmett. Until we meet again, we love you madly, and the marathon continues. I'm gonna play that again because I want y'all to pay attention. There's an orb. If you haven't paid attention, you just listen to me, whatever saying, and just looking at the sun. There's an orb on that green tree. You see that tree that's near where Emmett Till is resting, his remains, his mortal remains. There is a weird orb thing that is like dancing or flying around, and I didn't see that until I looked at my footage this past week. That there's an orb thing that's this got a life of its own. And I want y'all to pay attention because you can see it if you pay attention. Look at the tree this time. When I play, look at the tree. Don't look at the sun. Look at that tree and see that thing flying around or moving around the way it is. Y'all tell me what y'all think it is. Play it again. And I know it was the blood. I know it was the blood. I know it was the blood for me. One day when I was lost, he died upon the cross, and I know it was the blood for me. Goodbye for now, brother Emmett. Until we meet again, we love you madly, and the marathon continues. Now I'm gonna say this. I think it's very important. I looked at all my other photos, all my other video footage. I did not see no green orb flying around like that. That's the only two videos clips I have is of these two clips of that orb moving around. It's like it's independent of any so-called sun reflection or something like that. And I want to take it to like some type of professional media person that could probably tell me if they could pinpoint that. But the reason why I think that is what that is, I think it's weird. I know it's weird. Like I got this video uploaded to my Instagram page, profile, right? I could share anything as far as I know, I could share any other video, anything from my profile. I cannot share that video. When I try to share it, it gets hung up. it's like it started repeating the I could hear the audio play when I even can't upload it or add it to my story. I can't add it to my story at all. It would not let me. I've been trying for days to add this video to my Instagram story. It won't let me. I can add other videos and other posts and other people's stuff to my stories. I cannot do this. It'll just get hung up and you can hear the song keep on getting repeated and repeated. I could go out of my app and come back in. And even though the page might be closed, I try to add it to my story, the song keeps on repeating and repeating and repeating. And that thing just weird to me that thing can move around like that. And I don't know what that is, but I do believe that might be Emmett Till spirit or something going on. Cause like I looked it up actually about orbs and cemeteries or in photos. And to me, it looked like it's a green orb. And what I read on one of these sites is that they said the green orb may be the Archangel Raphael. The Archangel Raphael may be represented by a green orb. And like to me, the orb signifies connection to nature and also with healing. Like the Archangel Michael is the angel known for healing. And I've been having my health issues and stuff for the last 3 years and stuff like that, just dealing with certain things. And I'm going to receive that it deals with my connectedness to nature and it's dealing with healing. And so, like, I'm not afraid of, but I just think I have interesting things. I love going to cemeteries to meditate. Like, I go travel throughout the country. I try to pick the best historic cemeteries to visit. Sometimes to play my trumpet or cornet. Sometimes just to eat. Sometimes just to reflect, slow things down, to put things in perspective. So it doesn't surprise me that orb is what it is. And I don't know what it is, but I want to take it to a technician or something like that to see what they think it is. I want to see what y'all think it is in the chats. Okay. He said the singing bush. That was actually me singing. But the orb, I'm more interested in what y'all think about what the orb is. Said 7 Mile Purple Gangrene. Okay. So I guess nobody really got anything to think about that. Uh-huh. Okay. All right. I know it's kind of weird, but I just wanted to throw out there. And yeah. Yeah, I can't. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll leave it at that. That's the Emmett Till thing. I'm gonna try to make it go viral. But like I said, every time I try to share it on my stories and Instagram, it won't let me share. And then like I look at the counts below viewership, but I think it could go viral because I think it's Emmett Till's grave. Look at the bush swaying. Yes, the computer. No, it's not computer cursor. This is just raw footage. I mean, I edited now, but this footage has not been manipulated outside of me putting like a photo of Emmett and the text, and I put it together. But that's not a computer cursor. That's like off of my camera. I did it with my camera phone, and that thing is moving. I thought it was my computer. I thought it was a glitch. But that thing, I don't have that green orb in any of my photos or videos from that time. I did that video after 7 o'clock p.m. on June 30th, 2024 of this year. So I don't know. I don't think that's coming from the sun, but I think it's very fascinating. And the wind, I noticed too. I guess that's with everybody. It's every cemetery for some reason. When I start to pray and meditate at these places, the wind do pick up. The wind does pick up. I can feel the wind. I can feel the breeze. I was visiting the graves of my mother's parents, my grandparents, my maternal grandparents, and I was meditating, praying, saying libations, speaking in tongues, playing my cornet, which is the cousin of trumpet. And that wind started pushing. That wind started picking up. And I don't care for wind, but the wind be picking up. So I was I think it was sacred site, and I believe that was maybe Emmett Till spirit, maybe. I don't know. Because like I tell people all the time, whatever you believe or no believe, energy never dies. You can't kill energy. You can kill people, but you can't kill energy. Energy is forever and ever, ever, and ever, ever. And a lot of people believe in reincarnation for a reason, but yeah. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But I'm gonna probably get a some type of technician or expert, so-called expert, to look at the footage and come with an educated guess. But I just don't know. I just think it's strange. You said back of the leaves, huh? Old saying. Okay. I'm gonna look that old saying up, sir. Thank you, brother Rashawn. I don't know. We live some interesting times. So let me see what else can I do. So I covered just about everything, I think. Oh, okay. Let me talk about this. I think I can wrap it up. You know, it's so much stuff I want to talk about, but I thank y'all for giving me a captive audience. And please, like, spread the word. You know, share this video. I'm gonna cut it up. I'm gonna make sure I cut the Datria Delaney stuff. I'm cut up everything and put it out there. I'm trying to get back in the habit of doing that. It's been an interesting time. Like I said, they really working overtime to try to censor me, deplatform, and I feel like I'm just a small fry. But you don't know how big you are when you got God in your corner. You have no idea how powerful you are. I remember last week I went to the gym and I had to straighten up some type of discrepancy with my charging, and something told me go into the back where where the weights were. I never went deep until, like, I go to that gym. I've been there for several years. I never even walked where the weights were, where people doing weight lifting. But something told me I need to go back there. As soon as I went back there, I saw a good brother. He said, "Brother Ron." I said, "Who is this?" I said, "He was a big muscular dude, big old football muscular guy." He said, "Brother Ron, what's up?" I was like, who is this? How I know you? I didn't mess with your wife or nothing like that. I ain't mess with a girlfriend. I owe you money. He said, "No, man, it's so and so. Me and my wife listen to your show. We big fans of what you do." So I said, God just told me to go back there. Found out he was a cousin of a person that I knew that I actually interviewed several times on the platform. But he said his wife listens to the show and stuff. Shout out to them, brother Lucas. But I knew I was famous. I go to places, people recognize me or they recognize my voice or something like that. And it's still like, wow, people know me like that. But according to you, YT or these other places, I'm not effective in getting the word out. But I remember when Dick Gregory was in Nashville for the King Day of 2016. Dick Gregory was there with MLK III. They did a presentation. And Dick was saying, "Hey, Martin, get with Brother Ron. This man could get your stuff around the world. That's out there, man." And MLK III never contacted me. I don't think I really tried to follow up with him either. And he had his daughter there. She was younger. She was real young at the time. It's 2016. And I was impressed with his daughter. I guess she got the legacy. She got the Michael King Jr. legacy. Michael King. I know if y'all know, y'all know. But but Dick was singing my praises to MLK III. And cause he would tell me, "You just don't. I thought you knew who you was. I know who you are, but do you know who you are?" He'll say stuff like that. Like he'll say, like, "Don't be a Rolls Royce riding through the hood." I mean, Waka Flocka picked up on that a couple years back and made it went viral. But Dick will always tell me that and tell other people that the same. So let's talk about this. Cause yeah, there's a lot going on right now. But fully committed. All right. That guy right there, I want to talk about him, not in a bad way. That dude right there is Neville Brito, like Britto. He is an Indian, not Native American reservation Indian, but he's from the country of India. He was my step grandfather on my dad's side. He was my father's stepfather, and he was my step grandfather. He was from the country of India, and he actually passed away August 31st of 2016. He lost his wife, my paternal These are my paternal people. My paternal grandmother, Letha Brittle. He lost his wife August the 3rd, 2016. And then he became an ancestor August 31st, 2016. So he left the planet 28 days after his wife, my grandmother. And what was interesting from my understanding, he was found sitting in her favorite chair in the kitchen when he passed on. And it's like he died from a broken heart. And their love was not an ordinary love. You think about it, it's I call them the odd couple of love. It could have been a reality TV show. It was before his time to me. He would have been married to my grandmother for 42 years that fall. They got married November 22nd. So they would have been in holy matrimony for 42 years. And they both passed the summer in August, in Black August. And he was an interesting guy. He was a well-respected educator in Saginaw, Michigan. He did all different levels of education, ended up becoming a college professor, well-respected. Brilliant person from my understanding, brilliant guy. A true humanitarian. All right. He believed in giving back. He identified a lot with Black people. He did. He married a Black woman. And what made it interesting, he married a Black woman who was a young widow with 7 children. This is a no. The men go their own way. This day and age, a single dude with no kids, marrying a woman, a widow with 7 children. That's like suicide. Ain't it? That's like, oh, that's like cray. Because, men don't, high value men don't marry women with children, right? But he married a Black woman from America with 7 children. I believe, okay, maybe 2 were out the home, but 5 are still around, including my father, still living there. And he embraced the family. They embraced him. He embraced the family, and he evidently loved my grandma. He could not be without her for a long period of time. But from my understanding, they tell me before he used to go to work for years, he would write a love letter every morning to my grandmother. Let me put a picture up there. The actually was last picture we took together after my grandmother's homegoing in Saginaw back in August of 2016. I was at their home on 12th Street, and I took that picture with Grandpa Brito, not knowing that would be the last time I see him alive, because he'll be dead just days later, within the same month. And I just want to show a picture of them and get to what I'm trying to get to here. I'm trying to wrap it up. I'm trying to do it nice and pretty for y'all as much as possible. Let's see. Here's a picture now. Grandpa Brito and Grandma Brito. My grandma told me that when she first went to India with my step grandfather, his folks, I asked them, did they accept you? Because, in India, they do arranged marriages and whatnot. And then, they got the color caste system, the untouchables and all that stuff. And Black folks will be considered untouchable in India, I think. Y'all can correct me. Y'all educated, whatever. But she said when she first met his people, when she went to India, because she was a citizen of the world. She loved to travel. She went to a lot of amazing places. She said the first time she met his people, including his father, they thought she was Puerto Rican. They didn't think she was just Black, American Black. They thought she was Puerto Rican. But my grandma was blessed. And she had my biological grandfather. They were married for about 20 years. And then she stayed married to Neville for almost 42 years. So she lived to be 88. So for like almost 62 years out of her 88 years, she was married. And I believe happily married to be, and then to find love with 7 children. I remember I saw something on social media about this woman looking for a good man on one of these dating shows. And she said, I'm 33 and I got 5 children. And them dudes said when she said that, they checked out. They wasn't even trying to hear no more. And then the sister, who was the I guess the vice person, the panelist, whatever expert, she said, "Look, you may want to work it out." He said, "So all your kids by one guy." She said, "Yeah." And then she said, "Maybe you need to work it out with him." And then she said, "No." I said, "But if my grandma could find a dude and she had 7 kids, I mean, I guess it's hope for anybody." I don't know if I would be, getting with somebody with that many kids. I mean, it's just interesting being a stepfather though, especially if you wasn't there to raise them when they were young. Would you get the respect? It's like, even when I date, if a woman got children of a certain age, like preteen or teens, like, these your children. I'm not connected to them by blood, but if I love you, I care about you. I also care about your people. But like, how can I really? I got to get her permission to discipline. I don't know what to do. It's like, if I had a child that I know that I help create, co-create, I want to be there in my child's life, right? I want to be there because I know how it is not to have a father there. Uh, Especially when you coming of a certain age as a boy, a certain rites of passage you take. So I would want people. Then, like, if you already have kids, you already imprinting on them. They always was raised like, if I'm dating somebody and she got kids like preteens and teenagers and stuff like that, I don't know what I can really do with them. I'm being honest about it because it's very tricky. I don't have any biological children right now, but I commend him for how he handled that situation with her children. Because she still had 5 at home. Like, my aunt Stephanie was out the house. My uncle Herb, he was out. He graduated. I think he graduated around the time his father died, my grandfather. So he was dealing with 5 still in the nest, but he handled it with grace, and he stood 10 toes down, and must respect him. But I want to bring him up because I don't think he ever confused himself for being a black person. No, he was married to a black woman. A lot of his associates were black people. You know what I'm saying? It's like he was comfortable in his own skin. He was just himself. But then I compare and contrast him with Kamala Harris in her situation. My step grandfather is blacker than her. And he's Indian, from the country of India. He's not from here, but he's more like us than she is. Oh my God! I think I'm gonna read. I'm gonna find that thing I did on Facebook about 4 years ago, talking about my grandpa Neville, about his commitment to the people, about his love of black people. He loved black people, man, and it was no faking the funk with him. I didn't spend that much time with him. I grew up down in Memphis. I didn't grow up in Michigan. My father didn't take me to the family get-togethers and stuff like that. Like, he took he adopted another man's children, 3 sons, and they were cool. I guess, are they my stepbrothers? If they legally adopted, that means they my brothers, right? Not necessarily just stepbrothers, but he ended up getting married a second time, adopted another man's kid. They went to the birthday parties, to the Christmas gatherings and Thanksgiving. I wasn't a part of that scene. And it wasn't until I became a man that I started making an effort to visit with not only with my grandma in Michigan, but with my cousins in Atlanta, in Kansas City, in South Carolina, in Maryland, like family. I was connecting people. So when my grandma passed, a lot of my cousins from around the country knew who I was, more so than my cousins who grew up having access to my grandma Brito and Grandpa Brito. They said, "Man, they really know you." I said, "Yeah, because I drive. I would take my car and put all types of miles on my car, driving, staying in hotels, driving around the country, even interviewing kinfolk and all that stuff, and sharing it online on social media." So I did that on my own dime. My father never took me around his people. He never did. And I don't hate my father. I don't have no issues like that with him. I'm just saying it is what it is, man. I'm a grown man, but I chose to want to be around my people though. And thank God I got a chance to reconnect with my grandma before she passed. That's a picture of her at her birthday down in Atlanta. This is back in July 4th, 2013. This was my first time seeing her since the 90s. I think the last time I saw my grandma Brito was probably back in 94. When I went up there in Michigan. My mama family stays on that Michigan too. What's interesting about my mother and father is that they met in college. They met at University of Tennessee, Knoxville. And my mom's from Memphis, Dr. Callie Hurd. My father, Ron Hurd Sr., who's an electrical engineer. He's from Saginaw, Michigan. So they met in Knoxville, Tennessee, Rocky Mountain High, whatever. Come to find out, my father's 8th grade math teacher is my mom's aunt Irma from Mississippi. My grandma's sister, my mother's sister from Mississippi. A lot of them moved up to Michigan. They didn't want to be sharecropping and be in Mississippi. They wanted a career. So a lot of them ended up moving up north to Michigan and places like that, became educators. So my grandma was the eldest of her siblings. And she actually had to run away to Memphis with my grandfather, Arthur Taylor Sr. She eloped to Memphis with him to get away because she didn't want to be stuck in Mississippi raising the kids with my grandma Madeira, my great grandma Madeira, and my grandpa, great grandpa, grandpa Jack. But anyway, I'm saying all of this. It's maybe too much information. But the fact that they met in Knoxville and the fact they already had a connection, like that mean that I was supposed to be here. Maybe the only thing they were supposed to do was to find a way to connect to get me here. And that's it. You know, because they were married. They got married one of my aunt's homes up in Michigan. And by the time I was 2, they were divorced. And he was moving on, adopted some other man's kids, whatever. But I'm not saying no, this ain't piling on people. I'm letting people know about my situation a little bit. But these are my people. So I connect. She was happy to see me. She was surprised to see me. It was a surprise for her birthday party for me to come down there, 6-hour plus drive to see her for her birthday. And I actually had a chance to connect with her for her other birthday celebrations as well. I was glad that I went to Charleston, South Carolina to see her in 2015. I didn't know that would actually be the last birthday celebration because she got sick in July on her birthday. So they canceled her birthday party. And I actually drove like 11 plus miles on 4th of July, 2016 to visit her because my mom's first cousin Jan, told me that because she used to just be an angel. She used to work at the hospital and check in, let me know, Ronnie Jr., your grandma's in the hospital. I just want to let you know. My father didn't let me know anything about what's going on with his mom. So when my cousin told me she was in the hospital again, I made a decision last minute to drive like 11, 12 miles to Michigan to see my grandma Brito. And when I got to a hospital room, it was night, and the city of Saginaw was shooting out fireworks, for the annual 4th of July celebration. Soon as I opened her door, went in her door, fireworks started going off like we in a movie. And she, in the dark, she looked and like she saw a ghost, but she was happy to see me. It was like unexpected that I was there. And we had like some interesting exchange of words, but I could tell that she had a lot of regret because I didn't grow up with her in my life like that. I wasn't connected to. I was more connected to my mom's side of the family than I was to that side, my father's side of the family. But she would say something like, I don't even have pictures of you when you was young with me. Like she would say stuff like that, and you can see she had regret about it. But she talked about love and the power of forgiveness. And I love my grandma. I didn't spend much time with her, but I love her. I wouldn't be here without her. Help bringing me through here. So with Grandpa Brito, I want to end it like this. Let me end it like this, and I don't mean to drag this on. So Ron, I came from real people. I'm a real person. I'm not made in a lab. I got feelings, and I don't hate women. I know it's people that hate men. It's some women that hate men, and that's interesting. And that's another story that I actually touched upon not too long ago. But I'm trying to find. I want to find. I posted something on Facebook years back concerning my Grandpa Neville and Camilla Harris, it rubbed people the wrong way. But I feel like it was prophetic. So we see I can find it though. I want to keep y'all up here too long. Thank y'all for tuning out, to tune in to get in where you think. I don't know if Facebook might have removed it. Because, they said the Biden-Harris administration was censoring people on Facebook. Y'all know Mark Zuckerberg, the so-called founder, said that. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get off of here. Cause I wrote this back in September 2nd, 2020. I'm gonna post this picture, man. And thank y'all for y'all patience, man. I appreciate it. Y'all really it will get more people to watch this. Cause I gotta start getting people to come to We All Be TV too on the White Tea Plantation. But I definitely want to do this. And then we'll call it a night and happy Labor Day. It's late because it's always every day is Labor Day. But every day is a work day. Every work day is a holiday, not a holiday. You see how it works? So let me see. I'm gonna do. No. I ain't go over too bad, but I thought it'll be a 90-minute show. I started talking. Okay, I'm gonna post this picture. This is from September 2nd, 2020. This Facebook post I'm going to share with y'all. Okay, I see. Do you see what I see? Yeah. Okay. I wrote this September 2nd, 2020. My grandpa Neville Brito was full-blooded Indian, not reservation, but the country. Red dot, not feather, man. Although he could have passed for black with what some of you Nagas call good silky Indian hair, he never did. However, he did love black people. He taught black people for several decades and was married to a FBA, that's Foundational Black American, A.L.'s American descendant of slaves, black woman, my grandmother Letha Brito, for nearly 42 years. He loved her 7 FBA A.L.'s children as if they were his very own, biologically speaking. He loved living in a very black neighborhood in the heart of Black Saginaw, Michigan. Yes, the same Saginaw, Michigan that produced the likes of Stevie Wonder, Serena Williams, Sonny Stitt, Mark Macomb, Keon Martin, and Draymond Green. The Sag Nasty, as my cousin would call Saginaw. Sag Nasty, man. He loved his black neighborhood so much that even when his community was on the verge of gentrification, he vowed to me that the only way he would leave would be feet first, and that he did 4 years ago on August the 31st, 2016. I am saying all this to say that from what I can gather from her prosecutorial record, interviews, and her persona, that Kamala Harris has none of the compassion and empathy for black people of the ADOS and FBA variety that her fellow Indian compatriot, my grandpa, has shown throughout his purpose-driven life. When black people ask her about reparations, what the Dems can do to help improve the conditions of black men, or when family members of Matrice Richardson asked for assistance in finding out who killed their loved one, all she did is be dismissive by either offering an arrogant, weird smirk, a neurotic laugh, or sidestepping, changing, avoiding the subject altogether, or a combination of all of the above. The current Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, should be in the federal pen and not at the Federal Reserve for bamboozling and swindling 80,000 Californian families, a considerable percentage of whom were black, out of their homes when he ran the George Soros backed One West Bank. This happened on cop Kamala's watch. By the way, Mnuchin gave generously to her campaign. The games, Wakanda forever, my assets, man. Kamala is really showing her Indo-Aryan roots this time around. Breaking up black families and locking up black men is a fetish for her, or it looks like it is. We had two quote unquote black attorney generals under Barack Hussein Obama and native black people. I say quote black unquote attorney generals under Barack Hussein Obama, and native black people caught all types of hell and still catching it. What makes anyone black think that voting for a so-called black or person of color attorney general as vice president is going to make things better? Let my people know. And I wrote this back in September 2nd, 2020. They still got the Facebook post up. So I wrote this back in September 2nd, 2020. So I've been consistent for 4 years on standing my ground against hell no, the Kamala. Hell no, the Kamala. I've been consistent. So, and like, I don't hate Indian people. I don't hate black people if I don't support Kamala. I love all people when I stand like I stand. Cause I ain't one of these people that say, well, I don't support Kamala, but I don't support Trump. I do support Donald John Trump. And a lot of y'all should too. This is not an endorsement that's paid, but I feel like as a black man that it's time for us to reclaim our proper position in society. And one way we do that is about standing up for ourselves and creating a platform for us to stand on and to really not look at anybody to save you, but you to save yourself. Because Lincoln did not free the slaves. The slaves freed the slaves. The slaves freed the slaves. The Union was getting whooped by the Confederates. They whooped that trick, whooped that trick, whooped that trick. Just not on one day, just happened. Whoop that trick. That's hustle and flow. So it took black men putting on a uniform, taking up arms to defeat the Confederacy. Had black men not joined the Union Army, the Confederacy would have won. They don't tell us that. Black men made sure that women had the right to the vote. Frederick Douglass considered himself a feminist. Frederick Douglass, freedom fighting, Underground Railroad, John Brown best friend Frederick Douglass saw himself as a feminist. He was on the Equal Rights Party ticket back in 1872. He was the vice presidential nominee for the Equal Rights Party back in 1872. And Victoria Woodhull, a white woman suffrage person, was the presidential nominee. This is back in 1872. Y'all talking about some Harris to the walls in 2024. Or you talking about Walter Mondale and his running, or Ferraro, whatever her name was. She gone. You talking about some Hillary Clinton. Frederick Douglass already being a so-called progressive back in 1872, or they nominated him. I don't know if he actually approved, whatever, because Frederick Douglass said to the day he died, he was a true black Republican, man. He stood on being a black Republican. And people would say, well, today he will switch parties. Hell no, he won't switch parties, because the Democrats have always been that wicked. The Democrats are the creator of the Klan. They led the number one most successful insurrection after the Civil War, the Wilmington Race Riot Massacre Insurrection of 1898. Look it up. Those out of party Democrats that did that. Democrats created the Klan, the Federal Reserve. They approved the Federal Reserve, the IRS. They helped create the CIA. I told you Harry Truman was going to be a Klansman, a Democrat that took over for Teddy Roosevelt. I mean, not Teddy Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt. That's Teddy's cousin. But his mentor, Tom Pendergast, who ran Kansas City back in the day, he was Catholic. And by the way, my grandpa Brito, he's Catholic, or was. And what's interesting about him, I think he did a reverse Kamala. I believe his first wife was a white woman before he met my grandma. But like they said, once you go black, you never go back. So what they said, I probably pissed off all types of people in my family, on both sides of my family. It is what it is, baby. I'm not taking it down, and I won't back down. Okay, let's see what we got in the chats. Mm-hmm. It look like Ohio family. Okay. Uh-huh. All my neighbors were burritos, and they are great people. I mean, I never met a bad burrito. I never met a burrito I didn't like, So I had a German aunt. I think we all got German people. I know my grandfather, which is interesting. He was a World War II veteran. My mother's father, when he used to get drunk, he used to tell his truths. And he said, if y'all ever go over to Paris and you see somebody look like me, I'm the pappy. He said, I'm the pappy. That's your kinfolk, you know. He had a good time when he was over there in World War II in France. But anyway, he said, I'm the pappy. The Bible still speaking through. Yeah, I talk to Dick Gregory, talk to me every day. He talked to me every day. He talked to me through people like you. You know, it's reminders that I know, God is real, man. This stuff, death is not the final say in anything. Like people say they're afraid to die. Not saying you should be in a rush to get out of here, but death is not the final thing. That's just the beginning in a lot of ways. Because to me, like once you free yourself of this mortal coil, you're free to be able to do more things to affect more outcomes. And you can always call on your people, man, to help you through these times. But the ancestors, that's why the Emmett Till thing. I've been knowing my Emmett Till since I was in elementary school. It wasn't because the kids, we was taught that as kids in school. It's because my grandma had this World Book Black History Encyclopedia from the 70s. I used to read it for hours, sitting on the floor of a living room just to read it for hours. And I listened to the elders talking about, their time in, living in Mississippi, and they talked about Emmett Till. The ancestors don't speak or communicate. It's all your imagination run wild. Well, I'll tell you this. Einstein, to paraphrase Albert Einstein, imagination is more powerful than knowledge. What gives us hope is not the known, but the unknown. And like what Harry Truman used to say, once he said, paraphrasing, I don't feel like looking it up exactly. The only thing new is the history that you don't know. The only thing new is the history that you don't know. Like, I believe Donald Trump is a time traveler. He could be, simply for the fact that if you look at his relationship with Elon Musk, it's like it was preordained. Elon Musk, who is the founder of Tesla, right? Y'all do realize that his uncle, John Trump, was a brilliant scientist for the government. He was a long-time award-winning MIT professor. That's one of his favorite people. Donald Trump's favorite people was his Uncle John. And when Nikola Tesla passed, I think it was back in January 7, 43, when Nikolai Tesla, whatever you call, he passed away. The government gave Donald Trump's uncle, the job to go through his notebooks to see what's going on with it, like to look through his stuff. Because Tesla claimed that he communicated with what we know as aliens. I believe aliens are real. There's a lot of things we don't know that we should know. And but I don't know if we can handle the truth though. But it is what it is, because it's 2024. It's the year of disclosure, so we might well just put everything on the table. But like, think about that connection. Ain't that interesting? Donald Trump's uncle gets to access the notebooks of Tesla, the actual Tesla, and then Donald Trump befriends the founder of the Tesla company, who is like, I'm starting to like this Elon Musk dude to a certain degree, because had he owned Twitter 4 years ago, we wouldn't be in the mess that we are in now. And that's another show. I'm not going to prolong the show, but we would be in the mess that we're in now. But the ancestors do speak, man. I went to Ida B. Wells' grave in Chicago. Hell, I even went to Al Capone's mansion in Chicago. I went to his mansion, and it was interesting. But anyway, to each their own. We all can agree to disagree and still be respectfully. Thank you. Like Brother Brashan said, that's not true, respectfully. Anyway, thank y'all so much. MAGA, right? MAGA in this. That's right. So thank y'all so much for tuning out to tune in to get in where you fit in. I'm your brother Ron. I delivered everything I said I was going to cover in the title. I think I covered. If you like the words from Brother Herb, please spread the word. If you want to support this movement, because knowledge is the currency of the universe, I need the folding money and the cash apps and all the donations to pay lights, camera, action, man, gas, all this stuff. Because like I said, I'm rebuilding the platform here on White Tea Plantation, but also I'm building off the platform of White Tea's Plantation. So you can subscribe here because we no longer be live streaming from We All Be TV. I'm trying to get as many as y'all to come over with. Since y'all want to stay on the plantation, y'all come to We All Be TV too. Come to We All Be TV too. Still want to stay on the plantation. All right. Then you also go to Rumble. We built up the Rumble. And I mean, here today, going tomorrow. Like I said, they removed so much videos from my catalog. It's ridiculous. It's really unfortunate. I thought there'll be a place where it'd be like kind of like an archive for people to access for posterity, but they removing like some touchstone videos that I did that really propelled the movement forward. We All Be movement forward. So I love y'all. Y'all take care of yourselves. Also, go here, buy y'all a t-shirt or a mug or something. We'll do a better job promoting it. Let's get this channel, the We All Be TV channel up to 10,000 subscribers. Can we get 10,000 subscribers, y'all? We got over 6,000. Let's work on 10,000, all right? And for the rumble.com, let's work on getting a 1,000 subscribers. We got over 100, but let's work on getting 1,000. And if y'all help me get the listener, and I'll keep on producing the content. Do we have a deal? Do we have a deal, y'all? Yes, we do. We should. So cash out your support. You go to $R2C2H2, PayPal, Google Pay, Zelle, R2C2H2 at gmail.com, Gavimo at R2C2H2. You can Apple Cash at my phone number, 901-299-4355, or you could join our patreon.com/WeAllBe. And I know I got to do an update on Patreon. I got a lot of great things for the people that have been committed to the We All Be movement for over the years. So I have not forgotten. I owe. Got to pay up what I owe. So let me see before we get out of here. Yeah, censorship. Yes. Last time I checked, this is America. So with that said, thank you, everybody. I hope I delivered. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's relevant, that you could do something with the information, because information is only power if you can apply it, and knowledge is still currency of the universe, man. So should I read a disclaimer? Because like it don't make a difference. I could put disclaimers, they still don't understand. Like parents just don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Let me put the disclaimer in. Disclaimer: the views expressed in this show on this platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints and expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information, and letting the general public be the ultimate judge in deciding on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support. And that is good night. But the best is yet to come. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your life. Live your life. And know that in the words of Duke Ellington, we love you madly. And in the words of Brother Hurd, keep on producing and pushing. Sound off. One love, one love, one love. Mwah.